Greetings, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us for this special edition of Lunchtime Love. I am Natasha L. Brown, moderator for the Selflessly Selfish group. And we have a special guest this week. We are talking about the courage to let go. I saw a beautiful testimony during her thankful and grateful. I guess you're doing it all month long. So you've been doing some posting what you're grateful for. And this one really stood out to me because I know many of the women would resonate with this. So this is something I wanted to bring forth and share with this particular Lunchtime Love. You know, each week we do this at noon. Now, this week we are not live. We are a replay, but definitely still interact. If you have questions, Barbara Nicole will still be able to answer those questions for you in real time, and we will be interacting through the chat. So, Barbara Nicole, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and definitely excited and appreciate you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Hello, everyone. My name is Barbara Nicole, and professionally, I'm a real estate broker. I'm an associate broker in the CSRA area. I'm a wife and mother of four. I've also been in ministry and served in ministry for many years so far. And I just love people. I love helping women. I love, fueling fire for people to pursue their dreams and goals and just loving on people, and that's who I am.
Wonderful. And what we will be talking about is definitely courage. And a lot of times we need courage for many things, and we don't think about courage to let go because we don't necessarily think we need courage. But I had a situation several weeks ago where I finally built up enough courage to be able to transition and change. And I did not even realize I did not have the courage to make that move. I was operating out of fear and didn't even consciously realize it. Once I reviewed and replayed subconsciously, I was operating out of fear of what would happen if I made this decision, what would take place. And really, once I let go, once I made my decision, it didn't take place the way I really wanted it to or thought it would. But once I asked God why, what happened took place in the way that it did, because the way I envisioned it and the way it happened were two different things. But the
Yeah,
peace I got from it, I knew that I had made the right decision. My body
correct,
feels better. I didn't realize I was carrying a burden unnecessarily.
correct.
I feel so much lighter. I can think clearer. Things have flowed to me freer. Things that I have been trying to do for several months. And, you know, we get caught up in situations and we don't see them as bad situations because they're not necessarily bad, but they're bad for us personally.
Correct,
So we
correct.
need to have the courage to get out of those things. And let me read the post you made. And I didn't put the date on it, but it says, I'm grateful today for the courage to release negative and toxic ideas, habits, situations, people, places, and things that do not serve my well being and peace of mind. So I was just excited because that is what I do on a regular basis. I have affirmations that I posted that say that same thing, but to see someone else say that, and definitely knowing your heart for women, that really resonated with me. So definitely I want you to run however you want to run to encourage us to have the courage to let go.
It's so interesting. When I made that post, I was the night before when I laid down and I was going to bed. With this whole pandemic situation, I had been struggling through some anxiety. And I remember just in those moments of anxiety, it feels like there's no way out. Like you can't see what the other side is. And when you're in it that hard and it feels like you're stuck and there's no way out, I was laying on my bed and I was saying, okay, God, I need to get on the other side of this. This is not what I want for my life. And it's definitely not what I want for my life for the rest of my life.
Right.
It's not something I want to carry long term and ongoing. And as I was laying there, I picked up my phone, and I opened up my notes, and I wrote, I can let this go. I will let this go. And it was ultimately just making a decision for myself and for my life that I was going to release this thing that was trying to hold on to me.
Okay.
And um, I realized when I was writing, I can let this go. A situation came to mind where professionally in my career, I was in a position um, that brought me, really, really great opportunities, excellent earning and income potential, but it required extremely long hours. It consumed my life in such a way um, that I really didn't even get to enjoy the fruit of my labor, because even when I was vacationing or supposedly resting, sometimes even when you're trying to travel, vacation, spend time with your family, I'm too tired to spend time with my family.
Right.
I'm with my children, but I'm not really with them because I'm also thinking about, did I finish this? I need to finish this. Okay, I'll give them a few more minutes, but I need to get back to work. I need to get on the computer. I need to follow up some phone calls, emails, and it's that constant go, 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 go. And um, I made the decision for myself and for my family to walk away from that. Not because, I didn't want to earn a whole lot of money and all that different kind of stuff, but because I made the decision of what is most important for me, what matters most to me. And one of those things was my peace of mind. You know, I
Yes.
realized because of the pull and the toil of the work, even though I enjoyed it, I still very much enjoy it. But at the speed and the capacity that I was operating, it was burning me out. It was draining me. It was pulling from me more than it was feeding me, more than it was supplying the things that were most important to me. You know, money is important to all of us, but that was not most important. And so, despite the criticism of others and the judgment of others, you crazy. I would never, or why. I got a whole lot of whys. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and actually for a while, I knew for a while that I needed to leave. I knew for a while that I wanted to leave. And I think oftentimes for us as women, in our guts, in our instinct, or as I say, I know in my knower, oftentimes we already know the thing that we're supposed to do. But because of the fear of judgment, because of backlash, or other people around us not agreeing with the choice that we're making, we choose to sit, we choose to stay, we choose to, I'll just suck it up and deal with it. I'll just swallow it and stay put because it's
Right.
best for others. And because we're so nurturing and because we're so loving, it's almost like we're trained to put the needs of everybody else before us. And if we
Yeah.
choose us, if we choose ourselves, we feel guilty about it. We feel shame about it. We're apologizing for it. And
Yes.
so I just had to be deliberate about what serves me and what does not serve, what doesn't serve me. And when I say serve me, I mean, is it good for my well being? Is it good for my peace of mind? Is it good at the end of the day? Am I happy with this choice, or did I just go along with it for the benefit of others? And so I gave myself permission, is what I like to say. I gave myself permission to put my needs first. Um, and doing that, it's terrifying. Number one, it's scary, But
Very.
it's so freeing, it's so liberating to
Hmm.
say, this is what I need. I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm not going to be made or manipulated to feel guilty about it. Um, you know, I have one life to live and it's mine, you know. My bishop used to say when I was a girl growing up in church, he said, every tub has to sit on its own bottom and leak its own water. I
Right.
am my own tub, okay? I can't choose what's good for you, what's best for you. And you can't do that for me. So I just had to get really deliberate and identify things that worked for me, that didn't work for me, whether it was professionally, whether it was where ministry is involved, whether it was a specific relationship. You know, sometimes we have relationships and affiliations with people, um, and the people sometimes their behaviors don't work well for us,
Right.
and that's completely okay. You know, I can still be full of love and love people, but that does not mean I have to completely embrace you and bring you into my personal space. If it's going to be a disruption to my space. And so I just had to tell myself those things and free myself and say it's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to set limitations and say, we can communicate, we can have fellowship, but this is as far as it goes. Um, because, just being a loving person, I want to be all in. I want to, just give you all the access, to everything I have to offer. And at the end of the day, or at the end of an encounter, I'm like, man, they just drain my
Right.
energy. And, you know, after a phone call, I don't even feel like myself, hopeful, positive, optimistic. And all of a sudden, all my thoughts are negative and the conversation is turning into something I don't want to discuss because you want to talk about people, and I'm uncomfortable and all that kind of stuff. It's okay to set boundaries and say,
Right.
this does not work for my well-being. And that's all it is when something is toxic. There are some things that are toxic because they're just bad, period. Just like lying or being a liar. That's just bad, period. But there are some things that are toxic because it's just hazardous to my health. It may be okay for you, but for me personally, it does not work. And the truth is, there are some things that are toxic that we enjoy. Um,
Right.
and it can be harder to release those things and let those go because we actually get some sort of pleasure or enjoyment from them. And so, like professionally, the income I was earning, you know, it could have held me hostage, and to a certain degree it was, until I decided this is not priority for me. But I think back, like when I was a kid, um my mother used to always, like, we would have family movie nights and we would eat Chippehoy cookies in a bowl with milk. We would
Uh-huh.
eat it like it was cereal, Chippehoy cookies and milk.
Oh
Um,
goodness.
and
Okay.
it was so good. It was just a part of, my childhood, just what we did. But I started having migraine headaches very young as a kid. And as an adult, just nostalgia, I guess, and reliving childhood, I started, eating chocolate chip cookies and milk with my kids. Okay. But I noticed if I had the Chippehoy cookies like on Tuesday, Wednesday morning, I would wake up with a migraine headache. And so it was something small, but I had
Right.
to decide, okay, is it more important for me to have this moment with these chocolate chip cookies, or is it more important not to suffer through a migraine and feel bad in my body. Yes, I enjoy it, but is the cost that important to me? And
Right.
so I had to make a decision. Okay, I'm gonna have to let this go. As much as I want to relive, um, that kind of enjoyable childhood memory, the pleasantries of it, it's not that serious. And so I had to decide to let it go.
Right. Or
So
even finding an alternative, just like you mentioned
correct,
with knowing your boundaries with people, finding an
correct,
alternative to still have that time, but knowing what is going to work for your body physically, mentally,
right,
emotionally. Yeah. So definitely being flexible.
yes,
And you know what? I
yeah,
want you to go back to the piece about the boundaries, definitely, but the distractions, how certain things can be distractions, even though it may be working for you, it's a distraction.
yes. Um, I think that um, oftentimes it's easier sometimes to walk away from things when it's bad, when it's
Hmm.
uncomfortable. Um, and it's a lot more difficult or challenging to walk away from something when everything is as you would like it to be and you're
Hmm.
in a state of comfort. You're in a groove, you're in a flow, this works. Um, but again, we know in our knower and in our gut, if something we have the ability as women to make it through anything, overcome anything.
Hmm.
And so in our mind we go, but I can change this, I can work with this, I can maneuver this to
Right.
make it work and to make it healthy, or to make it what I can tolerate. And we struggle through it, but we already know that it's not working.
Oh, yes.
Um, we already know that it's not um, the best thing for us, whether it be a personal relationship, with something like that, or professionally in our career, ministry wise, all of those things, we know that it's not working and that it is, a distraction on our destiny chain, on our road to where we're progressing and working towards. When I look at my purpose, what I know I should be doing and what I know I should be operating in, and I choose to operate outside of that, that's when I have issues that come up as far as being stressed, as far as being emotionally drained, mentally drained, spiritually drained, that cause us to begin to have physical issues in our bodies. It manifests in so many ways, and it's simply because we're holding on to things that are not good for us,
Right.
and not good for where we're headed and where we're going. And all of it is just that it's a distraction. And so it's just very important if we are in any way, shape, or form, like if you're going to a job every single day and you really hate the job, you don't want to be there, you're miserable. The smile you had is no longer the same. The
Hmm.
joy you had is no longer there. When you get home to your family, you're irritable, you're cranky, you're in a bad mood.
Right.
Um, Everything in the world just looks gloomy. You don't have that same pep in your step, and it happens. And it happens most often because we are denying ourselves what we need in efforts of trying to please people,
Right.
please the world, please others. And if that's where you find yourself, then I really encourage you to sit down and have a conversation with yourself and say, okay, Barbara Nicole, what is it that you need? What is it in this moment that would help you to be in a better mood, in a better state of mind, in a better overall condition? What does that look like? for you. And I'm a person, I write everything and write it down. And don't be ashamed to write it down. Voice your needs. I think as women, we've kind of been silenced. We've had a lot of things come against us to silence us, um, to tell us that what we need and what we want is invalid, or that it doesn't matter. And it very much matters. You know, I'm a better mother when I take care of myself.
Right.
I'm a better wife when I put my needs first. I'm a better pastor or a leader for others when I pay attention to my heart, to my mind, to my goals, when I acknowledge those and put my efforts and time into myself and invest back into me the same way that I would invest into others. And we have to also understand, especially as mothers, this is not a generation of do as I say, not as I do type of
Right.
children. You can't do that with them. I can't tell them to love themselves, you know, to always invest in yourself and follow your dreams. And they're like, well, what about you? What are you doing? And so I have to show them by showing up in my life. And the way I'm choosing to show up is by facing fears, you
Hmm.
know, facing difficult situations and saying, okay, how can I change this to minister love, hope, peace, happiness back to me? And I mean, and that's what it's all about. So if you've got to let go of people, things, situations in the process, it's not about being ugly. It's not
Right.
about um, attacking the character of others and saying, well, you're toxic and you know I'm too good to be with you and all that kind. It's not about that. You know, it's more so just identifying, does this work for me? What you have and what you offer, somebody else may love it. Somebody else, it may be exactly what they need to bring balance to their lives. But for me, it does not work. And I choose to make it just about, does it serve me and my well being, my overall well being? And if the answer is no, then I have to be willing to make the choice of choosing me.
Right. And so, if you had to put everything in steps, once you acknowledge that there was an issue that you needed to let go, what would be the steps you would encourage the ladies to take?
I would identify one, what it is that you need,
Hmm.
um, whatever it may be. What identify what your specific need or want is. Um, and then I would say to forgive yourself or free yourself from um, any guilt for having that need. So that you don't tie your own self up and tie your own self down, um, not wanting to pursue it because you just feel so guilty about this thing that you want. And for an example, as a mother, I like quiet time, but I've got 4 children. I've got three
Right.
dogs. I've got a husband,
Uh-huh.
who very much likes to talk to me. I like my quiet time. And so I just had to set aside time that was mine, and make sure everybody in my household knew it. This is
Hmm.
my time that is for me. Um, I don't apologize for it. This is what I need. But it's when I'm done with that, I'm all in, for whatever you need, daughter one, two, and three, husband, son, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So identify what you need, and then forgive yourself and give yourself the freedom to acknowledge those needs and to begin to pursue them and set whatever boundaries in place you need to set in place.
Okay.
That's a
Okay.
really, really good place to start.
Beautiful, beautiful. So definitely, if you all are just joining us, this is Lunchtime Love, and we are talking about the courage to let go. And my guest is Barbara Nicole, and she has shared with us some tips on, even just identifying that you need to let go. Because when we are not honest with ourselves and we allow things to go
Hmm.
on, we get into depression. We are depressing our true self. We are depressing a situation that we know we should not be in. We are depressing certain things that will begin to hinder us, like I shared at the beginning. Things, once I let go of that particular situation and circumstance, everything opened up that I had been trying to work on. And what we're doing is holding something in our hands and still trying to get more, and we don't have room. So sometimes
Correct.
we have to release and let go, and
Correct.
getting that courage, sometimes we may need an accountability partner or someone that we can confide in, that's going to give us truth, that's going to push us in the right direction and not say what we want to hear. So that is a big thing for me too, knowing. And I talked to several people before I made the decision, and knowing, like you said, in your knower, what the decision is. But sometimes we just have to get the not necessarily the backing, but to hear someone else say,
Hmm.
yes, I see that as
Of
well,
course.
and I was waiting on you to acknowledge it so that you can be free.
Hmm.
And sometimes, we can get upset because they did see it, but then too, it says a lot about them giving space for us to make that decision
Hmm.
ourselves. Because when we
Correct.
we make the decision, it makes a big difference as far as someone else telling us we should. Because if it doesn't work out,
Right.
we can blame that person. But if it doesn't work out, we know we can adjust because we own the responsibility, or at least we should own the
Yeah.
responsibility. So definitely, I appreciate you sharing that. And was there anything in closing that you want to remind the ladies to do so we can have that courage on a daily basis and not wait till we feel some kind of way in order to have the courage to move forward?
Yeah. I just think it just needs to be a deliberate action. When we wake up every morning and, our feet hit the floor, just consciously make the decision that I'm showing up for myself today. And everything that I'm doing this for me to be my best self. And so, whatever opportunities that will arise that day, if they are opportunities that are going to help me to even, feel even better about myself, to love myself even the more, it aligns with the vision I have for my life and for my identity, then I can flow with it. And if it does not, I have made the decision not to go that direction, not to include that, include myself in those activities. And it's completely okay because I'm doing what I have to do to be my best self and I'm showing up for myself. So if you call today and invite me someplace, but my vision for my day was I want to come home and relax just because I want to take some time just to chill. That phone call is not going to turn into you making me feel guilty or making me feel bad or saying, I showed up for you, you should show up for me. I will support you in other ways. But today is Barbara Nicole's day to chill. I still love you and I'll talk to you later. And it's just
Right.
making the decision day after day until it becomes reflex for us to love ourselves in that way. And that's all we have to do. So, and that's what I'm trying to do little by little, more and more every single day. Um, and it feels good. It has its scary moments, its challenging moments, especially when it comes to dealing with family, family
Oh, yeah.
situations, even relationship situations. Me and my husband have been married, almost 20 years, and there have been some things that, and my husband's a really great guy. He's a really great man, and I'm grateful for him. but there's some things that he would infringe on in my personal space. And, and as a woman, we just allow it and kind of go with the flow. And so
Hmm.
now we having a conversation. It's like, yeah, baby, I don't like that. You're not gonna do that today. I don't like it. And he like, you never told me that before. I'm like, I know, and it was just as simple as saying it, stating it.
Hmm.
And then him hearing it, receiving it, and then offering that support to help me on the path to where I want to be. So,
Right. And like you say, the more you do it, the more courage you build up and the more confidence you get and the more you can be consistent with it, which is a beautiful thing.
yes.
Because once we get started, we go, woo, I should have did this long time ago. But the getting
Hmm.
started piece is a little difficult. So I am excited that we were able to kind of nudge the ladies in the right direction to give them the courage, especially this time of year. A lot of people are reflecting and dumping and getting rid of things, but that's not what we're calling for. We're calling for you to have courage on a regular basis each day to
Correct.
do what
Correct.
serves you best. Not to necessarily
Correct.
be selfish, but to be selfish enough to make sure that you are well, that you are whole, that you are in a place where you can give, where you can support, where you can encourage, because it is hard to
Absolutely.
do that from an empty place. And many of us don't realize when we're empty, because like you said, you were getting to a place of burnout. When how long had it taken you to get to that place? So we have to be mindful of how we feel. If we would just learn to listen to our bodies, just
Yes.
sit quietly and listen to our bodies would let us know when it's time to do something different, what we need to be
Absolutely.
eating, what we need to be drinking, where we need to
Hmm.
go. And a lot of times, especially when all of this started in March, there were many places that I had gone before, and before I could get to the door, I can sense the anxiety, the fear,
Yes.
all kinds of
Absolutely.
things going on in that particular store, and I could not go in. So if I
Yes.
had not trusted that and went into that particular place anyway, that does not serve my purpose. That is showing
Yes.
that I don't love myself. So definitely
Absolutely.
listen to your body. Your body is always speaking, but we are not always listening.
Absolutely.
Is there
Absolutely.
anything else? Well, you know what? Let's share. How do women get in contact with you? Because you minister to women as well. So, how would women get
Hmm.
in contact with you?
Oh my goodness. So I do have a blog that I have not posted on in quite a while, but there is some content and some information up there that I think
Okay.
would be helpful, and it's Healthy Hearts blog dot app online. And then my Facebook page is just Barbara Nicole, my name.
Okay.
And if anybody else wants to reach out to me more personally or anything like that, they can get information from you. But I just love loving on people and helping people to walk in their purpose and things like that. And I just had to make a decision. How you helping other people and encouraging them to be
Right.
their best self in every area, but you won't show up and do it for yourself? That makes no sense whatsoever.
Right.
So, I just had to become a Barbara Nicole for me, that I was being to all the people that I love. And
Right.
that's what I decided to do.
Self advocate. That is definitely what we push, because you have to be able to speak up for yourself. It makes a big difference, because if you are not speaking up for yourself, it is doing a disservice to everyone we come in contact with. And we don't think
Hmm.
about it like that, but it is, because we're not giving our best selves. So, ladies, if you have questions through the replay, definitely post them. Any comments, post them. If you want to share a testimony, definitely post that as well. If it's something a little longer that you want to share on a lunchtime love, let me know, because any way that we can encourage the women of the group to be them best selves, definitely that is what we are here for, and that's what we want to do. I am Natasha L. Brown. My guest has been Barbara Nicole. We thank you and appreciate you for sharing, and just want you to remember that I love you, that self love, self care, and self compassion are your superpowers. Have a great week, ladies. And join me on Sunday. We do encouragement and prayer each Sunday at 9 p.m. here in the group. So definitely post those prayer requests and let me know if there's anything that I can do to assist you. Have a great week. Thank you.